Jonah sits outside the city of Nineveh. Not just sitting, he's posted up. He secured a dusty prime piece of real estate on a hill overlooking the skyline, waiting for the greatest spectacle in history. He's got the popcorn ready. Because this isn't a picnic. This is the moment the credits roll on humanity's enemies. Jonah is hoping, praying, and counting the seconds until Nineveh gets smoked, deleted, and wiped off the map by a holy judgment he believes is long, long overdue. Nineveh wasn't just any city. This was the capital of the Assyrian Empire, a superpower known for its savage brutality. They were the absolute worst of the worst. To Jonah, these people were his enemies. They deserved total destruction. He had delivered the message. 40 days and Nineveh will be overthrown. He said the words, but he knew the truth. He desperately hoped God would not listen to him. He was hoping for a show, not a sermon. He ran from the assignment, got swallowed by a sea creature, survived the most dramatic 3-day timeout ever, and finally, reluctantly, delivered the shortest, most furious prophetic message in history. And then, the moment he was waiting for. The deadline hits. The sky remains blue. The earth does not crack. Nothing happens. No fire, no judgment, just peace. Because the Ninevites actually listened, repented, and changed their ways. And when God saw their genuine change of heart, the judgment was revoked. And Jonah is not relieved. He is not happy. He is big mad. He is furious that his prophecy didn't come true. He didn't want them to repent. He wanted them to burn. He climbs back up that hill, sweating in the heat, absolutely consumed by rage that his personal moral scorecard has been overruled. He yells at God, demanding an explanation. He essentially says, I knew you were going to do this. I knew you were too compassionate. That's why I ran away in the first place. It is better for me to die than to live in a world where they get mercy. It's an incredible level of self-absorption. This man, who was just literally saved by ridiculous levels of grace from the belly of a fish, is now demanding that grace be revoked from an entire city full of strangers. His rage is consuming him like the sun. Then God does something quiet and hilarious. He grows a single, fast-growing plant, a leafy canopy right over Jonah's head. Suddenly the heat breaks, shade activated, comfort mode on, vibe secured. Jonah goes from existential rage to peaceful contentment just because of a little bit of shade. He's disproportionately joyful over this tiny, temporary gift. But this moment of comfort is the key to the entire story, because God uses it to make his point. Just as quickly as the plant grew, God sends a worm that eats the root, and the whole thing shrivels up in the scorching morning sun. Jonah goes from vibe secure to I want to die in the span of one afternoon. He's back to sweating, miserable, dramatic, and convinced he has the worst life ever, all because of this tiny plant. And God pulls up on the scene not with a clap of thunder, but with the most devastatingly simple question. Jonah, why you mad over a plant you didn't even grow? The plant showed up overnight, died overnight, and Jonah is acting like he just lost his emotional support cactus. Narrator, the emotional support cactus is gone, but the plot twist is just getting started. If this deep dive into one of the most misunderstood books of the Bible is challenging the way you think, please take a second right now to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep unpacking stories that are far more relevant than you realize. God hits him with the ultimate plot twist. You read big pressed about this one plant, but you don't care about a whole city full of people who have been lost for generations. And then God delivers the core message, the line that changes everything. He says, there are over 100,000 people in Nineveh who literally can't tell their right hand from their left. And you want me to destroy them? What about all the animals just chilling here too? The right hand from their left phrase is about moral, spiritual, and childlike innocence. God is saying, these are people who are fundamentally lost, confused, and ignorant in their sin, and you want me to destroy them. My compassion extends to the innocent, the clueless, and even the livestock. The plant is the most genius, relatable moment in the whole narrative. It exposed Jonah's true priority. His compassion only stretched as far as his comfort. His meltdown wasn't about the prophecy. It was about the fact that his heart was small. Jonah wanted judgment for them, but grace for himself. He followed God's instructions, but he didn't share God's heart, and then, boom. That's it. The book just stops. Hard cut. Roll credits. No closing monologue. No final redemption arc. No. And Jonah learned his lesson. Jonah doesn't walk away wiser. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't say a single word. Jonah just gets Thanos-Snapped out of the narrative like a side character whose contract didn't get renewed. But that awkward silence at the end? That's not a mistake. That's the entire point. Because Jonah was never supposed to be the hero of the story. He was supposed to be the mirror. He shows us what happens when someone is so caught up in their own bias, their own hurt, and their own opinions of who deserves what, that they can't even celebrate when people get a second chance. Jonah was ready to receive grace, but not ready to see others receive it. He forgot that mercy is a gift, not a trophy for the worthy. He wanted revenge. God wanted restoration. Jonah wanted destruction. God wanted redemption. So the book ends with God standing there with Jonah, pointing at a whole city and saying, I care about them. Even if you don't. And the story just ends. Why? Because the question isn't just for Jonah, it's for us. What do we do when God shows mercy to people we don't like, don't rate, or don't vibe with at all? How do we react when God cares about someone we would have cancelled? The ending is basically God saying, all right, your move. Because the ones who are supposed to write the ending with how we choose to respond, love, forgive, and grow. The story continues every time you care more about your personal comfort than the people right in front of you who are confused, lost, hurting, or clueless. The book of Jonah ends open because the real final chapter gets written in real life, not on the page. The story continues when you're tempted to gatekeep who deserves kindness. If this message resonated with you, let us know in the comments below. What is the Nineveh you struggle to show compassion to? Share your takeaway. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that challenge everything. Thank you for watching.